Mediation is a process by which we take the case out of the court system just momentarily and we bring it to a mediator, a neutral, somebody who wants to help us get the case settled. Mediation is a voluntary process and it's not binding. In other words, we can go there and if we don't like what's going on, if we don't like the offer, if we don't like the environment or the atmosphere, we can walk out and there's no consequence to it. Mediations are really effective at, one, getting cases resolved. And even if we don't get the case resolved, oftentimes the parties do get closer as it relates to their respective positions on settlement. The other really great thing about mediation is that you're going to learn. You're going to learn about the other side's perspective. And that's awesome. It's almost more valuable than the money itself because we're going to understand better what the defense thinks about our case. And we're going to use that information to address our weaknesses at the time of trial. Because let's say they don't like that you use the word black ice. Well, now we know we have to go deal with that in jury selection and in our trial presentation. I usually accept an invitation, especially when I think that the other side has some serious interest in negotiating a resolution. You're not going to testify. There's no testimony. You know, they might ask you some questions, the mediator, about how you're doing and how do you feel about this resolution? Or if we got to such and such figure, would that be acceptable to you? But for the most part, I will do most of the negotiating. There will be a lot of private conversations between myself and the mediator. I will report to you all throughout the day. This usually takes several hours. You'll be kept up to speed, but oftentimes the mediator does not want to talk to you directly because they sometimes have to say things that are not very nice about the case, about you, and they don't want to lose your trust or offend you. So they'll say it to me and they'll say, John, your demand, it's really high here. We got to get this down. And what happens is the insurance company wants a mediator because they want somebody else to put a price tag on it. They want to know, what should we pay on this? They don't want to have to go to their higher ups or their shareholders and say, hey, I just wrote a big check for, $1 million, for example. They have to answer, well, why did you do that? So they'll have reports, they'll have analysis of the facts and circumstances, they'll know about me, but they're also going to be able to say, well, we hired this experienced personal injury lawyer or a retired judge, and this is what they thought the case was worth. And that's why we paid that. And that is something that insurance companies like to have in their file, is a rationale behind the big check that they write.